From humanoids flying in the sky in California to black-eyed children from Nevada, here are the most disturbing mysteries from every USA state. In December 2024, a video was uploaded on X. Take a look.
Is it a cross? Heck no, it's not a cross. What is that? Like a...
What looked like a dot in the sky became something else completely once they zoomed in on it.
It looks like Iron Man. What the heck?
And exactly as the boy in the video described it, it looked like a man in the sky, except it was also glowing white, standing in one place and doing weird poses. The video was 2 minutes long and recorded in Sequoia Park, California, where not one but multiple people sighted it. And as the video went viral, people started coming up with different theories. For some, it was a psychological operations test for the underworld government to trick us into thinking the second coming of Christ is upon us, even though there's no evidence to suggest Jesus ever floated through the air looking like a giant, stay-puffed balloon. But for others, it was something else entirely. The humanoid UFO. Of course, many have their own perspectives on it. For some, it's actual interdimensional beings. For others, the government is up to something. But yes, this did have many pointing toward the UFO direction, and there was a lot going on in the background that actually made it that way, like the place where the video was recorded itself, California, because it's official. California has more UFO sightings than any other state in the United States. Out of all 50 states, it holds the crown for the most sightings ever recorded. Official numbers put it at over 16,800 reported cases, nearly double that of the next state on the list. And while some argue this is only because California is the most populated state, the sheer amount of documented encounters is too massive to ignore. Los Angeles alone has countless eerie first-hand reports, strange lights dancing in the night sky, craft that move in impossible ways, and sightings that stretch back decades. It's not just random people claiming this either. Pilots, police officers, and even celebrities have gone on record about what they've seen above California skies. And the timing of this Sequoia Park footage only added to the paranoia. People were already watching the skies because of major celestial events. The buck moon was coming up, one of the brightest full moons of the year, when more and more people are outdoors looking up. So when something that looked like a glowing humanoid was caught on video, it wasn't going to be brushed off as just a balloon or a drone. Some tied it to Project Bluebeam, claiming it was a government test of holographic tech designed to mimic religious events and manipulate the masses. Others swore it was the real deal, an interdimensional being caught on camera in one of the most active UFO hotspots in America. Whether it was a staged illusion, a genuine encounter, or something far stranger, one thing is clear. California keeps adding to its long list of skybound mysteries, and some of them might be too dark for us to ever fully understand. It was August 13th, 2008, when something peculiar aired on the news, which not many could believe. It was a story about a legend many thought false, with real proof. Apparently, deputies in Texas had witnessed something that terrified them to the core. This is what they showed. What looked like just a dog running away was way more than just that. According to the deputies, it had fangs, a dog-like long snout, and a hairless body, a classic description of a chupacabra. Plus, there was the fact that animals were being killed everywhere at that time in Texas. But little did they know, this was just the start for Texas, because just a couple of years later, another case surfaced on the internet. In 2014, a Texas couple claimed they had actually caught one alive.
I hunted coons, 20 years with dogs and all that, and I ain't never seen nothing look like that right there. Coon don't make that noise, or a possum. What makes that noise? I guess chupacabra does, I don't know.
Dubbed the Ratcliffe chupacabra, the strange, hairless creature was found in a tree on their property and locked inside a cage. The video quickly went viral, with locals convinced this was the blood-sucking beast behind the livestock attacks. But while many swore it matched the classic description, experts pointed out it behaved more like a raccoon than a monster. But as creepy as it looked, experts said these sightings might just be sick animals. Mange, a skin disease caused by mites, makes coyotes, raccoons, even deer lose all their fur. Their skin turns gray and scaly. Their body looks thin, and at night they can look terrifying. Vets even explained that these animals are weak, starving, and desperate. That's why they wander close to humans and livestock, which makes it easy for people to mistake them as the goat-sucking monster. Like in 2007, when a rancher in Cuero found a strange hairless body and the news spread everywhere, or even in 2022, when cameras at the Amarillo Zoo caught a figure lurking in the dark, and many swore it was a chupacabra. But the truth is, the legend started long before Texas. According to researchers, the first real descriptions came from Puerto Rico in the 1920s. They called it the chupacabra, which means goatsucker, a creature that drains the blood of livestock. And just like that, a new monster story was born. Even with experts calling it nothing more than sick animals, the sightings keep surfacing. Whether it's legend or reality, the chupacabra still remains one of the great unsolved mysteries. When a years-old video was uploaded on X, it had many talking about a legend long forgotten. Recorded by a local in Florida, this is what it showed. What caught people's attention wasn't just the size of the creature, but the way its tail had 3 fins instead of the regular 2. For years, it remained a mystery, with many linking it to the infamous Brian McCleary's sea monster attack. Back in 1962, McCleary claimed that while diving with 4 friends near Pensacola, a massive serpent-like beast attacked, dragging each of them underwater one by one. He was the only survivor, later found half dead on the beach, telling a story so terrifying that authorities left it out of official reports. But that wasn't the first time Florida's waters had drawn fear. For decades, locals around Lake Okeechobee, the state's largest freshwater lake, have told stories of something huge lurking below the dark surface. Fishermen describe it as long, snake-like, sometimes over 20 feet, moving so fast it creates waves bigger than any boat. Some even claim it bumps into boats before vanishing back into the depths. While many believe it's just giant garfish or oversized gators, the descriptions don't quite match. It moves differently, faster, more like something built for the deep. And while many called it proof of something monstrous, others think the answer is way simpler. Florida manatees are often struck by boat propellers, leaving their tail shredded in odd shapes. Some even pointed out that the trident tail in the video could just be propeller damage. But here's the thing. A manatee doesn't explain Brian McCleary's dive, the missing friends, or the fishermen at Lake Okeechobee swearing they've seen something way bigger than a manatee could ever be. So whether it's just a scarred marine mammal or a creature no one wants to admit lives in Florida's waters, the truth remains a mystery unsolved. Back in the early 90s, people in Taos started reporting something strange. A low, constant hum that only a few could hear, but once you noticed it, it drove you insane. Locals described it like a truck engine idling or a swarm of bees buzzing inside your head. Some even said it felt more like a vibration in the body than a sound in the air, but someone actually managed to record it. This is what it sounded like. At first, people thought it was just in their heads until enough complaints reached the papers that the government had to investigate. Scientists from Los Alamos, Sandia Labs, even the Air Force were called in. They measured the air, the ground, electromagnetic fields, everything. What did they find? Nothing. Just the sound of gophers tunneling underground. But the hum didn't go away. Around 2% of Taos residents still claim they hear it. And once you do, it never stops. Some say it's meditation-like. Others claim it's torture. A few even packed up and left Taos forever, unable to stand the constant noise. Theories range from underground military tech, secret low-frequency weapons, or even mind control experiments. More grounded explanations blame tinnitus, traffic, or microseismic waves traveling through the earth. Yet the hum shows up in places where none of those excuses fit. So, is it a man-made signal? Something natural the human ear isn't supposed to pick up? Or proof that the universe itself is humming all around us? Whatever the case, the Taos hum remains one of the strangest mysteries still unsolved. Fantastic Daily was a YouTuber from Nevada, known for work on paranormal and ghost stuff. However, things went towards worse for him when he got interested in the black-eyed children. He somehow managed to isolate a low-frequency signal, which appeared in many videos he uploaded about the black-eyed children. And then, with this signal, he started playing it every night for a week until he managed to capture this. Even though he went out right after to check, he could find no one. The kid just vanished into thin air, not even leaving a trace. And thus began the downfall of Fantastic Daily. A comment sums it up nicely. Considering that Fantastic Daily and his family have now fled from their home because of him using some type of audio to draw them in, which he thought was a harmless experiment. I'd be very careful listening to the audio that he used. It obviously brought in entities that don't have anything good in mind. And this wasn't it for Nevada, because apparently these black-eyed children have been haunting the state for as long as mankind can remember. In 2017, a video was uploaded on Instagram, which showed two women enjoying a good time in the pool. The video seemed pretty normal at first until people noticed something in the background. Have a look.
Me and Joanna are just waiting for us. And if you guys see this video, take a look at it. You guys should come right now and join us.
Right behind the women in the bushes was a face, staring directly at the camera. Only one thing noticeable: the eyes. And if that sounds familiar, it should, because this wasn't the first time something like this was caught on camera. In fact, our channel's first ever video featured a drone flying over a forest. When it captured a girl just standing there, alone, still, with the same unnerving black eyes. So maybe Nevada isn't just another desert state. Maybe it's ground zero for something much darker. Something that's been here long before any of us. In 1912, a 4-year-old boy named Bobby Dunbar vanished during a family fishing trip at Swayze Lake, Louisiana. His parents searched frantically. A $6,000 reward went up, and for 8 long months, the entire region was gripped by the mystery of what happened to Bobby. Then, in Mississippi, a traveling handyman named William Walters was found with a boy who looked just like Bobby. The Dunbars rushed there, and depending on which newspaper you read, the boy either ran into his mother's arms yelling "Mama," or he cried, confused, not recognizing her at all. Even the next day, after bathing him, Mrs. Dunbar swore she recognized the scars and moles on his body. That was enough. The boy came home to a parade, celebrated as Bobby Dunbar's miraculous return, but not everyone agreed. A poor woman named Julia Anderson stepped forward claiming the child was hers, her son Bruce. She said Walters had permission to take him for a short trip, not steal him, but Anderson was unmarried without money and painted by the press as immoral. When the boy didn't immediately recognize her during an arranged lineup, the court dismissed her claim. Walters was thrown in jail for kidnapping. The Dunbars kept the boy, raising him as Bobby for the rest of his life. Here's the twist though. In 2004, DNA testing proved that the boy who lived and died as Bobby Dunbar wasn't a Dunbar at all. He really was Bruce Anderson, which means the real Bobby Dunbar was never found. So what happened at Swayze Lake? Some say Bobby fell into the swamp and was taken by an alligator. Others believe he was kidnapped and disappeared into history. But the eeriest part is the double identity. A child stolen into another life. 2 families fractured forever. It almost feels like a doppelganger legend, where someone lives an entire life wearing another's face, only for the truth to crawl back from the past decades later. In 2023, a strange trail camera photo started making rounds online after a man named Lance uploaded it to a public Bigfoot and dogman page, saying, "I'm no outdoorsman wilderness person, so forgive me, but I had a friend send me a weird picture from a trail cam." The photo came from Adair County in the Flatwoods area of Columbia, Kentucky, a region already tied to strange sightings and unexplained activity. At first, people thought that it resembled a mountain lion. The muscle tone, the texture, even the color matched up, but something was off. It had no tail, and the ear didn't quite line up either, unless half of it had been torn off in a fight. Some commenters claimed it looked like a coyote, others said it was a fox, and a few swore it had the traits of a dogman. But the one thing that stood out, it didn't fit perfectly into any of those categories. And this isn't the first time Kentucky has dealt with such things. The state has a long history of cryptid encounters, from the infamous Kelly Hopkinsville goblin sighting in the 1950s, where a family claimed small creatures surrounded their farmhouse, to repeated stories of Black Panthers roaming the woods, despite no official record of them existing here. Adair County itself is rural, thick with forests, the kind of place where something could be hiding just out of sight. So when you see a figure like this caught on camera with no clear explanation, it ties right back into Kentucky's folklore. Maybe it was just a mangy coyote or a mountain lion with deformities. Or maybe, once again, Kentucky's woods are showing us something much stranger than science wants to admit. In 2012, a strange video surfaced showing lights floating over the Bridgewater Triangle. People who saw it weren't sure what to make of it. One comment read, "It looks like a diamond in the sky. Weird." Another said it looked like a fireball drifting above the trees. But this wasn't the first time something unexplainable showed up here. The Bridgewater Triangle, a 200 square mile patch of southeastern Massachusetts, has been called one of the most haunted places in America. Ever since cryptozoologist Loren Coleman coined the name in the 70s, the area has been linked to UFOs, cult rituals, ghosts, even Native American curses. And sometimes, it isn't just lights in the sky. Hunters and hikers have captured strange creatures on camera, hulking, Bigfoot-like beings hiding in the swamps. Others swear they've seen giant birds, Thunderbirds with wingspans bigger than cars, circling the skies. Add to that the animal mutilations, hauntings at places like Taunton State Hospital, and the infamous Hockomock Swamp, known as the place where spirits dwell, and you start to see why the Triangle has such a reputation. So were those 2012 lights just flares? Or another UFO hovering over Massachusetts? Was that photo of a swamp creature just a trick of the lens, or proof that something unnatural walks the woods? The Bridgewater Triangle has always blurred the line between folklore and reality, and even today, the truth behind its mysteries refuses to come into focus. In 1974, the quiet town of Amityville was shaken when Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family inside their house at 112 Ocean Avenue. A year later, George and Kathy Lutz moved in with their kids, but they only lasted 28 days before fleeing in terror. At first, it seemed like a fresh start. The house was fully furnished, even with some of the DeFeo's belongings still there. But almost immediately, things started to feel off. The Lutz family claimed to smell strange odors, see green slime oozing out of the walls and keyholes, and experience cold spots in certain areas of the house. Then came the blessing. A priest, known in the book as Father Mancuso, came by to cleanse the home. But while sprinkling holy water, he claimed he heard a deep voice growl, "Get out." He never told the Lutz family at the time, but soon after, he became sick with a high fever and blisters on his hands. As the days passed, the activity only got worse. George said the place felt alive, changing for each of them. Their final night was so terrifying, they refused to ever describe it. On January 14th, 1976, just 28 days after moving in, the Lutz family fled the house, leaving almost everything behind. That story went on to inspire the Amityville Horror, one of the most famous haunting tales of all time. But with fame came doubt. Skeptics pointed out inconsistencies, Neighbors said they never noticed anything, and Ronald DeFeo's lawyer even admitted he and the Lutzes had cooked up parts of the story over a few bottles of wine. Still, George and Kathy stuck to their claims until their deaths, even passing lie detector tests in 1979. Paranormal investigators like Ed and Lorraine Warren swore the house was infested with evil. Later owners, though, said nothing strange ever happened. So was it all a hoax? A way to profit off tragedy? Or did something truly sinister haunt that house on Ocean Avenue? To this day, the Amityville horror remains one of the most chilling and most disputed ghost stories in America. A hiker was on his adventure in Utah's Payson Canyon when his camera caught something it definitely shouldn't have. There's just something about Payson Canyon that makes your instincts twitch. During the day, it's all peaceful vibes, towering trees, whispering wind, and quiet trails that almost feel too perfect. But locals have whispered about it for years. Stories of something big, strange, and definitely not human roaming the woods. Some say it's Bigfoot, others laugh it off. This clip was featured on the Paranormal Review, a YouTube channel dedicated to strange sightings. It was sent in by a viewer who was out hiking through Payson Canyon when things took a chilling turn. As the camera slowly pans across the trees, you see it. Something massive, something dark, moving silently through the woods. At first glance, it almost looks like a gorilla. But here's the thing. Utah doesn't have wild gorillas, not even close. After spotting the strange humanoid figure, the hiker attempted to follow it. He managed to capture another glimpse through the trees, this time revealing just how massive the creature truly is. He even zooms in for a closer look, but as he does, the creature seems to realize it's being watched and bolts into the woods. Most viewers who've seen this video are convinced this could be Bigfoot. The shape, the size, the way it moves, it all lines up with classic sightings. And with Utah's long-standing reputation for strange creatures in its forests, it's hard to ignore the possibility. If this isn't Bigfoot, then what is it? Whatever it was, one thing's for sure. Hikers in Payson Canyon might want to keep their cameras rolling and their eyes wide open, because now we might just have some of the most compelling evidence of Bigfoot to date. Reddit is where you go to find solutions to your weirdest problems, but sometimes you stumble upon a thread like this that haunts your dreams. 2 years ago, a Redditor posted a thread on the Dogman subreddit, and let me tell you, this wasn't your usual blurry woods photo, or someone mistaking a raccoon for a cryptid. This guy shared a collection of creepy images that he didn't even take himself. He found them scattered across the internet and asked fellow Redditors for info. What some of them uncovered? Yeah, that'll send chills down your spine. One user claimed that 2 of these photos were originally from the NADR PI. That's the North American Dogman Research Project. According to Jody, the lead researcher from Ohio, they take dogman sightings very seriously. He confirmed these specific images were genuine cases and possibly proof that something is really out there. Jody also shared a disturbing pattern. Many sightings happen near graveyards. Even creepier, there have been cases where the ground appears disturbed after burials. Yes, something digging up graves. The photos in question were allegedly taken near a gravesite, showing what looks like a demonic, humanoid dog creature lurking in the dark. Another commenter, trying to be the voice of reason, analyzed one of the photos and claimed it just shows a German shepherd standing in tall weeds. Harmless, right? But then he pointed out that the 6th and 7th photos don't fit the dogman profile at all. They looked more like Fresno nightcrawlers. And honestly, I agree. In those images, captured from a moving car, you can see a bizarre creature standing in the middle of the road. It's dog-like, sure, but there's something off about it. Something sinister. Other images from this thread, and ones floating around elsewhere on the internet, offer no backstory, no context, just grainy visuals of creatures that shouldn't exist. And maybe that's what makes them so terrifying. Whether these photos are real or elaborate hoaxes, just the idea that something like the dogman might be lurking in our forests is enough to make you sleep with one eye open. I mean, we can deal with dogs, we can deal with humans, but a mix of the two, that's the kind of nightmare you don't wake up from. If you ever see someone in the water desperately reaching out for help, you might be making a deadly mistake. This eerie footage comes from Indonesia, where at first glance, it looks like a person is drowning, thrashing, reaching out, begging for help. But what's truly bizarre is that the fishermen nearby are laughing. Why would anyone laugh at someone who's clearly in distress? The answer? Because that's not a person, and the truth behind it is terrifying. What you're actually looking at is a saltwater crocodile, and it's not struggling at all. It's hunting. This creature has developed a disturbing new tactic. It flips onto its back and swings its limbs in the water, perfectly mimicking the flailing of a drowning human. The goal here is to lure kind-hearted people in for the kill. It's chilling to think about. These apex predators aren't just strong, they're adapting. They're learning how to exploit our compassion as bait. Nature is getting smarter and more deceptive. So next time you see something unusual in the water, look twice. It might be something far worse than it appears. This guy was walking past an abandoned building in Scotland when something truly terrifying made him pull out his phone and start recording.
Must be a ghost.
The footage comes from Reddit user Survivor, who said he was just passing by when he suddenly heard strange, loud banging noises coming from inside the abandoned structure. Curious and a little shaken, he started recording, and what he captured is downright chilling. As he filmed the building from the outside, one of the wooden window panels suddenly burst outward, violently, as if something inside had forcefully pushed it. It wasn't a gentle creak or sway, it was a powerful shove. But here's the strange part. According to the uploader, the entire building was locked and sealed shut. So what could have caused that? And this didn't stop there. The movement continued, echoing from inside, as if someone or something was trying to get out. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped, right after another strange noise came from deep within the building. Now, if you're thinking this could be wind, take a closer look at the trees around the building. They're not even moving, not a single branch twitching, and there's no sign of anyone near that window either. Given those details, and considering Scotland's ancient history filled with legends, hauntings, and old forgotten buildings, it's not that far-fetched to think something paranormal could be behind this. Would you have kept recording or run the other way? The following video was recorded in 2009 by Michael Green's thermal camera. Michael was a known Bigfoot hunter, so he's always on the look for these creatures. And when he found out that an area in North Carolina had been known for multiple sightings, he knew exactly where to set up his cameras. And this is exactly how he managed to get his hands on this footage. A figure can be seen appearing, then swaying away multiple times on the camera before vanishing completely. Now, this whole encounter lasted about 3 minutes, and according to Green, it was the best night of his life. But if you think the figure, or Bigfoot in this instance, just randomly appeared, then you're wrong, because Bigfoot had actually been lured in by Michael. He just didn't know if it was really going to work or not. And that's the main reason it was named Squeaky. Among the items intended to pique its curiosity were squeakable bath toys, including a rubber ducky. Various toys were moved repeatedly on the stump and occasionally taken. Some were later found deep in the woods. Now, the footage was later analyzed by many experts, most of whom came to the conclusion that the chances of the creature being a Bigfoot were very high. The behavior is interesting, seeing the figure creep up and then sway. The problem is that there is nothing for scale, and I haven't seen a recreation for comparison. The footage cannot really indicate size of the figure. And it wasn't just the experts. Every skeptic who was watching the clips had the same thoughts. If I remember correctly, Mike set out some food, peanut butter I think, on a log, set up the camera, unfortunately not quite focused correctly, and then left the scene for a couple of hours. The creature approached the food like it was being observed the whole time, even though it probably knew there was nobody around. That gives a clue to just how stealthy they behave, even when nobody is around. And it's no surprise that the appearance of Bigfoot happened in that area, because North Carolina has somehow become a hub for Bigfoot sightings. Multiple reports have come from that area, from the 1990s to recent months. In fact, in 2010, there was another strange encounter reported by a man. He claimed to have seen a 10 feet tall figure who came out of the woods and walked past him. No camera footage that time, but the report was eerily similar to others from the same area. So, whether you believe in Bigfoot or not, there's definitely something weird going on in those woods. And if this thermal footage really is legit, then Squeaky might just be the clearest peek we've ever gotten at one of these creatures. Anna Marie Goddard is an American model and actor, and when she went out to the Redwoods in Northern California for a shoot, she had no idea what she would be witnessing. It was late at night, and just when Anna and her crew were partying, they saw something nearby. This is what their camera recorded. A huge figure in the dark, pretty close to the camera, was passing by, probably busy in its own thoughts. Now, neither Anna nor the crew told anyone about it, but a couple of years later, when she went on a TV show, she revealed what had actually happened.
Come on, Jay, that's not a bear, that's not a gorilla or whatsoever, that's something different. That's Bigfoot.
Now, did the guys go out and chase after this?
Yeah, the guy with the camera went after it, and then two other guys.
And did they catch it?
No, they didn't catch it. It was dark, it was raining, it was just really terrible. And
According to Anna herself, she had the video checked by multiple cryptozoologists, and all of them were certain that what she and her crew had witnessed was indeed a living, breathing Bigfoot. Still, the clip caused a lot of controversy, with many claiming that it was a publicity stunt. But Anna seemed credible to many as well. And then there's also the fact that it was filmed in California, one of the biggest hotspots for Bigfoot sightings in the entire country. According to the BFRO, California has had hundreds of reports over the decades, especially around the Redwoods. And a lot of those encounters happened way before viral clips or social media even existed. So yeah, maybe it was a stunt, maybe it wasn't. But if you ask me, the footage feels too raw to be fake. No dramatic buildup, no shaky reaction, no one screaming for views. Just a tall, shadowy figure moving through the trees like it's done that 100 times before. And considering it was filmed during a random photo shoot in the middle of nowhere, there's something oddly believable about it. An unknown video was uploaded to the internet, and it had people in shock. Where many couldn't believe their eyes, others started believing in something they had considered just a legend until then. This is what the video showed. It might be too blurry, but it's quite clear that a whitish, slender figure appears and disappears from the screen in a second. And in those few seconds, people knew what it was: the Rake. And just a couple of days later, the creature was going viral again. But these weren't the only times this creature was ever seen. The history of the Rake goes all the way back to the 1690s, when a mariner's log contained these exact words: "He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake." But since there were no pictures or cameras back then, the Rake became a legend, a humanoid creature, about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouching, walking on all fours. It has very pale skin. Its face is blank. No nose, no mouth. And sure, you can call it a creepypasta, but then how do you explain what happened in Maryland? It was the Forest Haven Asylum, which has been closed for years now. I had wandered off from my friends, and while on a path, I looked to my right, and about 30 feet from me, under the light of a lamppost, I saw it. I saw a pale creature that was huge. It had long limbs and was walking on all fours like a crab walk that a human does. Its head was faced toward the ground, and I saw its tongue sticking out. Its head was moving side to side like nothing I've ever seen before. I was so scared I took off running, and that's the last I saw of it. Ever since, I have told this true story, and I swear it's the Rake that I saw. Still, no one could ever prove anything. No photos, no videos. But everyone who talked about it described the same thing and the same feeling. I absolutely love trail cameras. They capture things in the woods that have stayed hidden from us all this time, until now. This chilling footage was posted on Reddit and was captured by a trail cam on November 23, 2023, around 5 in the morning. The camera was originally set up to monitor deer movement in the area, but what it ended up catching was far more unsettling. As the camera rolls with its infrared flash on, a faint figure appears in the distance. It's humanoid in shape, slowly moving through the darkness, like it's heading somewhere, with purpose. Now here's where it gets weird. Even if that was a person, what on earth are they doing deep in the woods at 5 a.m.? The way it moved wasn't like someone stumbling through the forest. It walked with an eerie calm, like it could see clearly in the dark. Some viewers even claimed it looked like the figure was floating rather than walking, its motion strangely fluid and unnatural. To add to the mystery, the original uploader even posted a comparison photo with their friend standing in the same spot, and whatever was captured on the trail cam appeared significantly taller than an average human. So, whether it was a ghost, a cryptid, or something else entirely, one thing's for sure, I definitely wouldn't want to run into that on one of my camping or hiking trips. As much as nature gives birth to beautiful creatures, sometimes it creates things that look like they don't even belong on this planet. This video comes from South America, where a boy from a small village discovered a truly bizarre creature, something that looks like it came straight from another planet. From the very first glance, it resembles an alien. It has a hairless body, one single eye in the center of its head, and a strange, elongated, worm-like face. The rest of its body is also unlike anything we've ever seen before. The local reporter covering the story interviewed the boy who found it perched in a tree, and after sensing some weird vibes from it, they decided to bring it down. Now, if you ask me, it kind of looks like some newborn animal, maybe a baby creature born with extreme genetic mutations. Some commenters even suggest it might be a deformed cat. But honestly, I've never seen a cat that looks like that. So what do you think? Did this kid stumble upon and kill an alien sneaking through our forests? Or was it just a rare anomaly of nature? Either way, it's unsettling, and it's making me side-eye every tree I walk past now. This homeowner had been hearing strange noises coming from the street sewer for days, but what he eventually saw is enough to give anyone sleepless nights. This eerie video comes from TikTok, recorded by a homeowner who was investigating unsettling sounds coming from the sewer outside, but when he stepped out to check, he captured something straight up disturbing. As he approached, he noticed small hands reaching out from the sewer grate, twitching, grabbing, almost as if something or some beings were trying to escape. The fingers moved frantically, gripping the metal bars, desperately attempting to push it open. But the real question here is, what in the world are those hands attached to? They look like tiny monkey hands, but according to the uploader, no monkeys have ever been seen or reported in that area. So what could it be? A family of raccoons maybe? Their hands do look similar, but even if that's the case, the whole scene doesn't lose its creep factor one bit. Do you believe in the existence of giants? Well, if you don't, then after watching this next video, you just might start to. A TikTok user named Sam uploaded a bizarre video on July 6, 2023 that left the entire community shocked and confused. In the clip, he reveals what appears to be a massive bone lying on the ground in the middle of a jungle. And when I say massive, I mean nearly the size of a small bus. There's no doubt this thing looks like a bone. The texture, the way it's worn down by time and the environment, it reacts like real bone material. But of course, there are some more grounded explanations too. Some viewers pointed out that it closely resembles the trunk of a specific type of tree, especially Huesos, which naturally decays in a way that looks a lot like bone. Still, the size, the shape, and the eerie setting leave the door open for something more. What if it is a bone, and not just any bone, but one from a giant? Honestly, it's hard to say for sure, but one thing's certain, this video definitely adds fuel to the legend of giants once walking among us. Locking your doors and windows might keep intruders out, but what about the darkness? This video comes from a homeowner who found themselves in a truly tense situation one night when it felt like the darkness itself was trying to creep into their home. In the footage, we can see the homeowner standing at the corner of a room speaking to something until the source of their fear reveals itself. A dark shadow begins to emerge from the corner, slowly creeping into the room. It's pitch black, unnatural, and as the homeowner speaks, it almost seems to respond. The atmosphere gets heavier, and the presence becomes undeniable. The shadow lingers for a few seconds before retreating back into the darkness between the walls. According to the homeowner, it was an evil spirit trying to enter their home. But as they began reciting a religious prayer, the entity hesitated and finally backed off. If this is how the darkness tries to invade a house, then I honestly don't know what could truly stop it. This homeowner was abruptly awakened late at night by his Ring camera notification, but what they saw through it was enough to terrify anyone. The footage, shared on Reddit's public freakout page, starts out like any other strange encounter. It's late at night, and an elderly woman appears at the front door. At first, it doesn't seem all that unusual. Maybe she's lost or needs help, but things quickly take an eerie turn when you notice what she's holding in her hand. The woman is clutching a knife and appears to be nervously twitching as if she's caught in an internal struggle. Her expression is blank, confused, almost like she doesn't want to be holding the knife, but something is compelling her. It feels like she's unknowingly luring the homeowner out, and the implications are downright unsettling. But there's actually a heartbreaking explanation behind it all. This elderly woman was later identified as a dementia patient, which becomes clear when you observe how disoriented she looks, staring at the knife like she doesn't even understand why she has it, and holding it in the least threatening way possible. Thankfully, there was an update. According to a comment on the post, the woman was found by police shortly after and safely returned to her care home. No one was hurt, but I can't even imagine how terrifying it must have been for the homeowner, watching this all unfold live from their camera view in the middle of the night. I don't know about other countries, but there's definitely something strange going on in the skies over Vancouver, Canada, and this next clip captures it perfectly. This video quickly went viral across the internet for one chilling reason. It seems to show something completely unexplainable happening in the sky. We see a flash of thunder, and then, out of nowhere, an orb appears and strikes right into it, creating a bizarre burst of light and shadow that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. Now, if you ask me, it could be CGI, because I honestly can't find a single logical explanation for how something like that could happen in real life. But then again, the internet insists this was real and caught live. So what do you think? Natural phenomenon? High-tech military experiment? Or something not of this world? Drop your theories in the comments. I'm seriously curious about this one. This Russian driver was out on a late-night drive when he captured something that looked like the sky itself was glitching. The video, uploaded on YouTube by a Russian user, shows dashcam footage that appears to capture a real-life glitch in the sky. In the dark night sky, strange lights begin to appear in a bizarre and unsettling pattern. They're not overly bright, but they're clearly visible from the ground, and they seem to be coming from something massive, possibly hovering above the clouds. Some speculate it could be a UFO, and if that's the case, the spacing of the lights suggests this thing is huge. We're talking city-sized. What makes this even more unsettling is that similar sightings have been reported in other Russian cities around the same time. It's fueling speculation that extraterrestrial life might not only be real, but far more terrifyingly advanced than we've ever imagined. This boy was just out for a peaceful night walk in his neighborhood until something happened that made him regret it for the rest of his life. The video, captured by the boy himself, shows his late-night walk taking a creepy turn when he notices something strange happening inside one of the houses on his street. Curious and a little unsettled, he starts recording. Inside the house, we see a family sitting around a dining table, and the light above them is flickering. That alone is eerie, But what's even more disturbing is how the family is reacting to it. They just sit there, twitching, acknowledging the flickering light, almost like they're stuck in a trance, as the boy quietly explains what he's seeing while recording from a hidden spot outside. Something terrifying happens. The family suddenly lowers their heads in perfect sync as the light above them completely shuts off. And then, without warning, they all turn their heads directly toward the boy. That's where the video cuts off. This feels like a scene pulled straight from a nightmare or a psychological horror film. I genuinely hope the boy who recorded this is okay, because it seriously looked like he stumbled into something unnatural. Was it a demonic ritual, a cult gathering, or something far worse? Whatever it was, the way they all moved in sync, then stared directly at him, definitely didn't feel like a welcome gesture. In 1972, Kerry Walton was visiting an abandoned building in Wagga Wagga, Australia, when he noticed something beneath the floorboards. His immediate thought was that it might be a child's body, but as he got closer, he discovered it was a doll. He later named it Letta Me Out. And Letta isn't just a doll. It's considered one of the most haunted dolls in the world.
Has he affected other people the same way?
Oh, lots of people. How many people like him?
Since then, this wooden doll has appeared on multiple TV shows, and the creepiest part? The doll has real human hair and glass eyes. Believed to be over 200 years old and of Eastern European origin, Letta has been associated with numerous unexplained phenomena. Witnesses report immediately feeling uneasy as soon as they get close to the doll, and it's not just humans who react. Even animals seem disturbed by it.
Predicting gypsies.
It frightened me. You know, put the wind right up me. And then after I'd settled down a bit and realised what it was.
Psychics suggest Letta is inhabited by the spirit of a boy who drowned, and that the doll was crafted in his likeness. Despite multiple offers to sell it, Kerry has held on to Letta, saying he feels an inexplicable bond with it. If you've heard of a faceless figure roaming the roads at night, glowing green and terrifying anyone who crosses his path, you're not alone. Locals in western Pennsylvania called him Charlie No Face, or the Green Man. But unlike most urban legends, this one is rooted in truth, because Charlie No Face was very real. Raymond Robinson was born in 1910 in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. At just 8 years old, he suffered a horrific accident while climbing a power line, which resulted in the loss of his eyes, nose, and right arm. To avoid frightening people with his appearance, Ray took to walking alone at night along Route 351, using a walking stick to guide him. And as this info came to light, people started wondering, imagine being such a nice guy that you walk alone at night not wanting to scare people, and everyone starts calling you fucking no face. Yeesh. Over time, his nightly walks became the stuff of legend. Teenagers would drive the roads hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious figure. Some encounters were kind, offering Ray beer or cigarettes, while others were cruel. Despite it all, Ray continued his solitary walks for decades, becoming both a local fixture and, eventually, a myth. Ray passed away in 1985, but his story lives on, a poignant reminder of how real people can become twisted into urban legend. Back in the late 1970s, a quiet home at 284 Green Street in Enfield, North London, became ground zero for what would go on to become one of the most well-documented and debated hauntings in history. It all started in August 1977, Peggy Hodgson, a single mother of 4, called authorities claiming that her daughters, Janet, 11, and Margaret, 13, were hearing strange knocks coming from the walls. Chairs started sliding across the room on their own. Toys were flung around violently, and people swore the girls levitated in the air. Here's where things get creepy. A police officer witnessed a chair move without anyone touching it. Journalists from the Daily Mirror tried capturing it on film, and 2 paranormal investigators, Maurice Gross and Guy Lyon Playfair, from the Society for Psychical Research, spent over a year in the house, documenting more than 2,000 incidents. And this wasn't it, because during the investigations, they actually managed to record Janet being possessed.
I wonder, do you think there's anyone there just now?
Yeah, I do.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that, Janet?
Pardon? Stuart. Son.
Even years later, she claimed that while a couple of things were faked, the majority of what happened in that house was real. The haunting-inspired books, TV specials, and even The Conjuring 2, which was loosely based on the case. But separating fact from fiction, that's still up for debate. Some call it the greatest poltergeist hoax of all time. Others believe it was a rare and terrifying example of real paranormal activity. Either way, the Enfield poltergeist has become a textbook case in modern ghost lore, and even today, over 45 years later, people are still asking the same question: was it real? There are times when we see things the mind just refuses to accept as real. For instance, seeing a light above the clouds as if someone is holding a torch or something. But it's not UFOs or aliens or witches or whatever. This is rather a pretty common phenomenon, just not known by a lot of people. Crown flash. A crown flash is a rare meteorological event that occurs when sunlight reflects off or refracts through tiny ice crystals suspended above the crown of a cumulonimbus cloud. These ice crystals align due to the strong electric fields around the cloud, creating beams or pillars of light that can appear to dance or shift rapidly. The effect is often described as aurora-like streamers emanating into the clear atmosphere. The first scientific description of the crown flash phenomenon appeared in the journal Monthly Weather Review in 1885. Since then, numerous videos have surfaced, capturing this elusive spectacle. One notable instance occurred in 2021 when a crown flash was observed over Miami, Florida. A video captured the event, showcasing the rapid movement and shifting light patterns characteristic of a crown flash. While the crown flash is a natural occurrence, its rarity and the dramatic light displays it produces have led some to speculate about its origins. We actually looked at this creature on the channel before, but it wasn't until recently that I finally found its proper name: the Montauk Monster. Back in 2008, a strange carcass washed up on a beach in Montauk, New York. At first, people were baffled. What kind of animal could this be? It didn't look like anything familiar. Here's what the picture showed. The creature looked like a hairless, almost grotesque animal with a long snout and sharp teeth. Its strange, bloated appearance and missing fur made it look like a monster straight out of a horror movie. Scientists and experts quickly weighed in with theories. Some said it was a decomposed raccoon, Others guessed it might be a turtle or a dog carcass distorted by the sea. The odd shape and damage made it hard to identify for sure. Interestingly, the Montauk monster sparked a ton of internet buzz, conspiracy theories, and local legends, with some claiming it was a secret government experiment gone wrong. But realistically, it's probably just a decomposed animal caught in the tides, looking far more terrifying than it actually was. And then in 2024, another animal with sharp similarities was caught by a fisherman in Ontario. For locals, it's a strange predator that feeds on beavers. Some cryptozoologists pointed out that it looks like a mink, but whether it was related to the Montauk monster or if it was some other creature, that question remains unanswered. Throughout history, many cultures have passed down legends, and so this legend goes. On April 26, 1890, the Tombstone Epitaph published an incredible article about 6 gunslingers shooting the Tombstone Thunderbird right out of the sky. 126 years later, the legend lives on. Thunderbirds are giant birds from Native American folklore, so massive and powerful that their wings are said to create thunder when they flap. But here's the wild part. People have been reporting real-life sightings of these creatures for decades. Witnesses describe huge birds with wingspans sometimes over 20 feet, way bigger than any known eagle or condor. They often say the birds have an eerie presence, soaring silently or making deep, thunderous sounds in the sky. Scientists and ornithologists usually explain these sightings as misidentified large birds, like pelicans or oversized eagles, but no known bird matches the size or behavior described in Thunderbird reports. What really fascinates me is how these sightings tie into indigenous stories that have been passed down for centuries, showing how folklore and eyewitness accounts sometimes overlap in mysterious ways. Are Thunderbirds real? Hard to say, but these sightings keep the legend alive and make you wonder if some ancient, giant creatures still fly above us today. Forget those grainy photos of blurry lights in the sky. This Dutchman just captured undeniable proof of extraterrestrials. Well, almost. This Dutch homeowner, initially dismissing the unknown flying object sighting that he saw before as a possible airplane due to the nearby airfield, became curious when he heard unusual sounds during a thunderstorm. In the video, venturing outside to investigate the sounds, he felt a sense of being followed, though no one was visible. As he explored the bushes, he caught sight of a strange creature lurking nearby. Slowing down the clip he captured, we can see that this creature looks like a humanoid with a pig-like face. After being spotted, the creature seemed startled and quickly vanished from sight. The homeowner's conclusion that this creature may be related to the earlier sighting suggests a connection between the two phenomena. Sure, the idea of alien life might raise a few eyebrows, but tales like these make you wonder, don't they? Who knows what lies beyond our earthly realm? Ever glanced at the sky and had that sinking feeling that doomsday might be upon us? Well, brace yourselves, because this video aims to give you a taste of just that. This unsettling footage comes all the way from Michigan and was captured by a family who were, let's just say, thoroughly freaked out. In the video they recorded, we can see multiple smoky trails streak across the sky, seemingly descending towards the ground. It's like something out of a movie. Fireballs raining down from the heavens. There are 5, maybe 6 of these trails stretching from high above all the way down near the horizon. So what exactly caused this unsettling display? Online theories have been flying faster than those smoky trails. Some believe it could be debris from a destroyed aircraft. Others say parts of a rocket. And a few even went as far as suggesting alien activity. Now, let's get a little scientific here. While those theories are certainly out there, the most likely explanation is a meteor shower. Meteors, also known as shooting stars, heat up as they enter Earth's atmosphere, creating the glowing trails we see. Even though it's a natural phenomenon, there's no denying the eerie feeling this video evokes. This next video will have you locking your doors and checking the windows twice. A homeowner in his own neighborhood stumbled upon something straight out of a nightmare.
Dude, what the fuck is that? Dude, look through the night vision. Look on the screen. See, what is that? Hello? Hey, who is that?
This footage shows a homeowner venturing out to investigate strange screams echoing outside his house. As he cautiously prowls the neighborhood, his camera captures a mysterious figure lurking in the distance. Despite the homeowner's attempts to communicate, the figure remains silent, ominously darting across the street. Suddenly, the air is pierced by a blood-curdling scream.
It's tripping me out, dude.
Sending shivers down the homeowner's spine, who wastes no time in hightailing it out of there with his camera in tow. What's truly unnerving is that the entity captured on camera bears no resemblance to anything we've ever seen before. Its spectral appearance suggests something otherworldly, perhaps a ghost or a spirit. After witnessing this spine-chilling encounter, it's safe to say that investigating strange noises in the dead of night is off the table for me. Ever wondered what it'd be like to see a real-life flying person? Not the kind in cheesy superhero movies, mind you, but something a whole lot more unsettling.
Lindsay, come here.
This unsettling footage, captured in Maryhill, has gone viral, leaving both locals and internet users bewildered. In the clip, you'll see this figure up high, looking just like a person. It's got a shape that seems to have a head, arms, and legs, all covered in what looks like a big billowing cloak. And it's zipping through the sky at a pretty fast pace, leaving everyone scratching their heads. Now, if I had to take a guess, it could be some sort of fancy drone made to look like a person, maybe to freak people out or pull a prank. Or it might just be one of those huge kites that look like a person, but are really just made of paper. Either way, whether it's a drone or a kite, seeing something like that flying around would give anyone the creeps. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. Imagine you're enjoying a peaceful afternoon in your backyard, soaking up the sunshine, when suddenly you spot something straight out of a horror movie, a half-eaten, zombie-like bug. That's exactly what this next video brings. This unsettling scene was captured by a homeowner in his backyard, where he stumbled upon a cicada that looked like it had seen better days. With its body torn open and its internal organs nowhere to be found, you'd think this cicada would be down for the count. But nope, it's still kicking, or rather walking, as if nothing's wrong. Now people on the internet are screaming zombie virus left and right. But let me tell you, the reality is even creepier. Turns out, this unfortunate cicada has fallen victim to the Massospora virus, a parasite that consumes it from the inside out, then manipulates its behavior to drive it to mate. Yep, you heard that right. This poor cicadae is now unwittingly playing wingman, trying to attract mates despite its less than attractive appearance. But hey, I don't think anyone's lining up to swipe right on this cicada anytime soon. Good luck finding a mate, buddy. You're gonna need it. Fairy tales whisper of whimsical creatures flitting through enchanted forests. But what if these winged beings aren't just figments of our imagination? This clip, captured by a mother reviewing footage from her daughter's room, has reignited the debate. Look closely. Can you see the translucent figure near the miniature door? There's an undeniable form, yet barely visible. It first appears near the plush dog, a slight ripple in the air disturbing the ribbon. Then, in a blink, it vanishes, only to reappear by the miniature door. It knocks the key from its hook. After a lapse of time, it returns, swooping down to retrieve the key before vanishing into thin air. Moments later, the figure is back, hovering by the plush dog. A subtle nudge, an act of mischief, and the toy tumbles to the ground. The fairy's translucent nature makes it unsettlingly difficult to fully discern. Why this elaborate game, this cryptic behavior? Would you call it a hoax? But wouldn't it be magical, even a touch frightening? If fairies were real, this clip is a reminder that shadows hold secrets, and our world might be far stranger than we imagine. Zombies, those shuffling, decaying figures of horror movies, have become cultural icons. Their popularity is strange, given how terrifying they are. But what if they weren't just fiction? Would our fascination turn to fear? Look at this deer. It's clearly injured, the wounds on its face startlingly similar to those we see in zombie films. But it's the creature's disoriented behavior that's most unsettling. The mindless circling and lack of awareness. Is this just an illness, or is something more sinister at play? Could this signal the unthinkable, a zombie apocalypse? The thought of this happening to humans is genuinely terrifying. I dearly hope this deer is simply sick and recovers, not some harbinger of doom. When we think of ghosts, we imagine shadowy figures, chilling sounds in the dead of night. But this clip challenges our expectations. Here, the specter seems less threatening and more playful, or perhaps lost.
Really getting freaked out. I can literally hear something.
This hiker seeks solitude in the forest, but senses something following him. He's armed, ready to defend against any earthly threat. But what about the unseen? As he begins to record, there's a flicker of white. Did you see it dart behind the trees? It's almost childlike, hiding playfully, unaware it's been spotted. The hiker senses it now, sees it shifting from one hiding place to the next. The camera abruptly cuts off, his voice laced with fear. What was it? A mischievous spirit, mirroring the behavior of a living child? Or is there a more sinister presence, hiding beneath the guise of innocence? This clip is unsettling precisely because it doesn't fit our expectations. Would you dare to venture into the woods alone after watching this? For more interesting footage, check this out.